Hello, my good friends. Welcome to the show, Jack Chow on East-West with G&E TV. As you may find out, we have not only three different faces, but you look at the faces, you'll find three different ages. The oldest, the middle age, and the youngest.
Well, thank you.
All right. All right. Today, it's my pleasure to have invited both father and son to the show to make a point. They are Mr. Craig Young, Mayor of Yorba Linda City of California, and his son, Jacob Young. To both of you, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack. Good to be here.
All right, good. Yes, I like to talk to Young Man first. But for the purpose of warming him up a little bit, I would rather start with you, though.
Well, my last name's Young, so I'm kind of like a young man.
So young man also. And also Young is a Chinese name, too. Last name, family name, too.
Yes.
So Mr. Young, like that kind, right?
That's right.
Oh, very good. Okay, sure. Tell me something about your son, please.
Oh, my wife and I, Sonia and I, have two children. We have my son and my daughter. My son is the oldest of the two. Both kids attend Pepperdine University.
Both are Pepperdine.
At Malibu, yes. And what's great about Pepperdine is the sophomore year, they encourage the children to apply to go to study abroad. So Jacob, a year and a half ago now, was able to spend half of his year in Germany and the other half of the year out of Shanghai, and just had a spectacular time.
So to Jacob, you went to Germany, went to Shanghai, Germany, China. You went to Germany, went to China. How do you compare the difference? Where do you like best?
I love both, but the differences are kind of extraordinary, especially when it comes to the amount of order in society. The Europeans are very orderly, all about personal space.
All right.
Was my view. And when I arrived in Shanghai, it was much less like that. It was
all right.
striking.
Okay, all right, good.
And I love it.
All right. Different taste, right? Different taste. And back to my audience. Now it's my turn to explain to my audiences why I have invited both father and son here. I've been getting along with Mr. Mayor Young for quite some time, the Honorable Mayor Young for quite some time. I found out in this person a mind of broader range. He is not only those kind of narrow-minded people focus on one point. He sometimes takes different perspective, different angles to look at the same thing. And when I learned about he sent his only son to China to study on his own, though, I was, matter of fact, surprised. I did ask you the first day when I heard about that, wow, you feel comfortable? Let him go that far? I won't even let my son to go to Berkeley. He said the answer is yes. All right. So that moment I started thinking about, as a father, you should think different ways. As a mayor of the city, you should think in a broader ways, especially when you are mayor of a city whereby your people are so diversified. So you have to understand your people, and you want to make sure not only your generation understand, the second generation, the next generation goes on and on. The understanding sustains.
Right.
So
you're absolutely right.
That is why I invited both of them here to hear them say about the similarity, the differences, the future of a U.S.-China relationship versus the fact that there is lots of controversy about the U.S.-China relationship. Right? Some feel it is so perspective, some feel there's so much danger. All right, so forget the part, forget everything. Let's talk about it. Right. So, what year did you come to China, to Shanghai?
In 2014 is the year that I studied there.
Early this year.
Oh, no, that's not right. It was
2013.
2013, yes.
2013. You 1 month?
from January until March.
Oh, you stayed there for a full year already.
From January of 2013 to April of 2013.
All right, 4 months.
4 months, yes. G&E.
No. January of 2014,
13.
13
Yes.
to January to April of 2014.
No, of 2013. Still only 4 months. Was
Oh,
what
I
you
see,
said.
I see.
Yeah.
So, are you coming back? Still going back to Shanghai?
I hope to. I hope to.
I see, I see. All
It
right.
won't be this year because I'm finishing up my studies at Pepperdine. But I hope to return to China for my
So in
MBA.
Paradigm, what do you major?
My major is business administration.
I see, I see. And in China, what school did you go in Shanghai?
I was partnered with Fudan in Shanghai.
Oh, Fudan University. Oh, one of the #1 universities in China. Take my word for it. Yeah, so
Thank you.
you can go ahead and do that. It is one of the #1 schools in China.
So would
And
that be a good
lots of-
place to-
Yeah, lots of big shots
Good.
come out as a result of Fudan University.
Well, Jacob's looking at doing his graduate work in China. Is Fudong a good place for him to look at doing his graduate?
I
master's?
believe so. If
That
I
is
were
good.
him, I would stay. I would choose to stay.
Good.
All right, not looking around anymore. Fudan is the place. You're
Good.
lucky you end up with Fudan. So in Fudan, what program did you take?
It was a general studies program in partnership with Pepperdine. And so it was part of my business administration major courses.
I see.
I took some
I see.
marketing classes and things like that.
So you are not the only American kid in the class, are you?
No, it's Pepperdine students. And so most everybody was American with Chinese teachers from Fudan.
Oh, I see. I see. That's interesting structure. Interesting structure. So what have you learned so far? Tell me.
Oh, I
Please.
feel like I learned so much. And yet I also feel like I opened this world of infinite things that I don't know about China. And it was very interesting for me to see that business is similar in China and that America and China rely on each other for their business needs.
Of course, I'm not going to look into the curriculum part because you learn what you learn anyway, right? So to situate yourselves, to situate a classroom in China, in one of the China's famous university, and to have a Chinese teacher teaching you, what do you find the difference?
Well, I found that the Chinese professors were much more based on lecture. They were there to share their information with us, share their knowledge, and less conversation was had in the classroom, mostly after the class. Have conversations.
I see. All right. It so happened that 2 days ago, I had Professor Wei Lo, founder and the CEO of California Sunshine Education Center,
Okay.
who established an experimental school in one of the China schools to cut off from the whole piece, put aside as what they call experimental department by using both curriculums combined.
Interesting.
Interesting, right?
Sure.
And then during the summer, they brought a bunch of their students, 39 of them, to visit Los Angeles, to live in host families for about 2 weeks. Now they're back. Yeah. And the other day we were talking about it, and they did point out, so coincidentally, that differences. In China class, you have one professor doing the 45, 50 minutes, and here is a classroom discussion.
We have the interaction going.
Interaction
Sure.
going back and forth.
Sure.
So, are you saying one is better than the other, or to you is the same, or it's a different taste only?
I think it is a different taste. I was used to accustomed to the interactive learning. Because of a smaller school like Pepperdine.
All right,
But
yes,
I
of
also
course.
very much enjoyed my Chinese professors because it allows them to get every point that they wanted to get to. They know exactly what they're going to be able to say.
I see. So, in the class, do you just raise your hand and say, hey, I have questions? Can you do that?
You could. I don't think it would be responded to, though.
Interesting, right? Interesting, right? So, with that as a difference, though, what else have you noticed?
In the country in general,
In class, in and out.
classrooms. Well, outside of the classroom, when I was traveling around, I really enjoyed speaking with other students and trying to learn what they thought of me. And I find that they're very similar, that they have this sense of...
You mean the Chinese students?
Yeah, in certain senses, of course.
I see.
That they have this desire to go out into the world also in many ways to explore America, where I come from. And I have that sense, absolutely, to go to China and try to understand more.
You know, Marianne, and this young man really makes a point. We're now in a world not compare things which is good with better, which is good which is not good, right? Okay. For example, we're talking about a pear and an apple,
right?
Which is good. Well, depends.
Both.
Right? Both are good.
Sure.
Right? So point is that you got to taste both. You may end up like both, right? So in your city, when you face a city with lots of immigrants, especially new ones who bought beautiful houses,
right?
Like 1 million, 2 million houses.
Right.
I know you're never short of those huge houses.
We have some expensive homes,
right?
yes.
Okay. So, how do you take about this comments, this young man's point?
Well, I love the idea that he is so interested in exploring the other cultures and seeing the similarities and the differences. And Yorba Linda's wired that way. I mean, as you know, we're the birthplace of Richard Nixon, and President Nixon is the one who went to China to open up the relationships for the very same reason.
And by the way, I donated $200, and I got 4 pens. $50 each.
And they are very good pens, right?
Not necessarily, but they are good in a sense.
Good.
You bought in the place where Nixon was born. Right.
And I love that Chairman Mao and President Nixon, way back in 1972, tried to do for our two countries the very thing that we're talking about. How do we explore each other's similarities and respect each other's differences?
Exactly. I still recall there is a very famous saying that to respect similarity and let the differences remain.
Let the differences remain.
Let the differences remain. All right, good. So to my audience, today is one of the very few chances. It happens normally on a Friday when people are relaxed, nothing seriously happening, the water busted being taken care of already at UCLA. We lose ourselves, relax ourselves to talk about some conceptual issues. So joining me is the mayor of Yorba Linda City, Mr. Greg Yang, and his son, Jacob Yang, who has just finished his Chinese taste, right, in tasting of China in Shanghai about a few months ago, and he's ready to go for one more chance. So stay with us. We'll be right back talking about more.